Hi
Hey guys, I'm Cece.
And I'm Neve.
And we're gonna be answering some of your most frequently asked questions on our social media.
Does everyone with tics swear?
Yes. I feel like a lot of the people that I know with Tourette's do, but actually it's not very common. I think it's 10 to 15% of people with Tourette's, or is it Tourette's or tics?
I think it's tics.
People with tics have coprolalia, which is the swearing tic.
Hey. Do tics have to start as a child?
No. You can develop tics from lots of different things. Like I have Tourette's syndrome. Neve hasn't been diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome yet. But they can be caused by so many different things that it can definitely happen in adulthood.
Drinks.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, fuck off. Sorry.
Dog. Aww.
There's actually a criteria to be diagnosed with Tourette's, and one of the parts of the criteria is that you develop your tics under the age of 18.
Yeah, but we do know 2 or 3 people that have been diagnosed with adult onset Tourette's syndrome. Which just means that they've developed tics after they've turned 18.
Do you tic in your sleep?
I don't think I do. But that's a really hard one to answer because obviously we can't tell. My friends say I don't. So.
Yeah, from what I've been told, I don't generally.
But the people who have told us and people that don't really know much about tics or Tourette's, so they might not be seeing our like smaller motor tics.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had smaller motor tics in our sleep.
Yeah.
Or like, you know when you wake up partially but you don't remember waking up? I'm sure you'd probably tic during that. What's Tourette's?
Tourette's syndrome is a neurological condition caused by the part of the brain called the basal ganglia, and it's said to have ruptured in people with Tourette's syndrome. It causes brain signals to misfire, which makes you make involuntary movements and sounds called tics.
When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed on the 2nd of December 2020.
I'm not diagnosed with Tourette's, but I am diagnosed with FND, and I got diagnosed in July 2021. What is FND? FND is functional neurological disorder. It's where the brain and the nervous system don't work in coherence with each other. It causes signals to misfire and get lost. I can't remember what I was saying. Sorry. It can cause a variety of symptoms. No, it can't.
Yeah, it can.
Such as seizures, twitches, paralysis, joint locking, fatigue, pain.
Feet. No.
There's a list of symptoms. It's sort of an umbrella term for a bunch of different symptoms, and you can have other diagnoses within FND, for example NEAD, which is non-epileptic attack disorder. If you could get rid of vocal or motor tics, which one would you choose?
That's such a hard question because both of them have like their perks and their
downsides.
But in public I'd get rid of the vocal tics.
Hey!
But motor tics can be really painful.
Yeah, damaging. Like you can injure yourself because of motor tics, but you can't because of vocal tics.
Those ones can be really embarrassing. And you can get embarrassing motor tics, but they're generally not. The ones where I hit other people are quite embarrassing.
Yeah, not just embarrassing, but makes me feel upset that I can't control invading someone's privacy.
I'm in your bubble.
This is my no-no square.
Stop. Don't touch me there.
With Cece, I feel comfortable letting all my tics out. I know she's not going to judge me, but around other people, not knowing what your body's going to do can get a bit...
Yeah, even if they're people that you know really well.
Yeah.
If they don't understand... Well, if they don't have Tourette's then or tics, then it's harder to be yourself.
Can you drive with tics?
We could both drive with tics, but we can't drive for other reasons. So I'm visually impaired.
And I have seizures, so I can't drive because of that.
A few people I know with tics or Tourette's can actually drive, so I guess it just depends on what kind of tics you have, because if you have ones where you're going to turn the steering wheel, then obviously not, but I think it's just a case of whether you feel comfortable with it or not.
You've got to listen to your own body.
Hello, I'm listening.
How do you do exams with tics? You don't.
Do you get a separate room for yours?
So I've got a bunch sort of extra things that I get given for tests. So I've got a scribe who can write for me, I've got a dictator who can read for me. I've got a separate menu for both mine and other people's benefits.
When I was doing my GCSEs, Tourette's wasn't really very well understood, so I had to suppress my tics during my exams. They did let me, I'd always be the last person into the exam hall and the first person out, and I'd sit right at the back because my surname starts with an A, so otherwise I'd be right at the front, and it would really stress me out that everybody else was behind me and they were able to see me at all times. So they did let me move to the back, but yeah, I didn't really tell many people in detail about my tics, so weren't really any accommodations.
I also get 25% extra time. That's for dyslexia and tics. It was actually mock week last week, so I got all of my things that I would get in my actual GCSEs, and during the middle of one of my English exams I had a tic attack, so we had to stop the time. So if that happens, you stop the time and then you would just continue it another day.
In my course at the moment, we don't actually have any exams. I get that question a lot on my TikTok. Is how do the other people in the room cope with your tics during exams? But my course is entirely coursework based, so we don't have to deal with that anymore, luckily.
That's good. You.
At the same time.
Do you know what your tics will be before they happen?
No. For the majority of the time, no. It depends on the context. Sometimes if something specific has triggered it, I'll be able to sort of guess what's coming because I know how my tics react to certain things. Yeah.
A lot of the time, my tics can be observational. So if I see someone with pink hair, my tic might tick about their pink hair.
Candy floss.
Like that. So I can sort of predict what might happen. Also, if it's a long tic, I've got a moonpig.com tic.
Moonpig.com. Sorry. It's alright, don't worry.
Moonpig. That's perfect. If I say moonpig, I know that it's going to end in .com, so halfway through the tic, I know what it's going to say because I already started the tic.
We're quite good at guessing what they could be, but we don't actually know. It's just a prediction.
What does it feel like to suppress?
Oh, I actually hate that feeling so much. Suppressing is basically where you hold in your tics. Not actually sure of the science behind it. I don't know how it works. It takes a lot of practice.
So Cece is a lot better than I am.
Okay. It's just holding in your tics, but it's extremely uncomfortable and it takes a lot of concentration.
I think it depends on the person, but for me it hurts my chest. So like, this might sound too much information, but you know, if you have trapped wind, it's similar to that feeling for me, a build-up of tics like in my chest. It's as if you can feel it physically building up.
Yeah, people say it's like when you shake a bottle of fizzy drink or something like that. For me, it does feel like that, but all the way up my back, it's sort of like an electricity kind of feeling. I don't even like thinking about that. Hello.
Do tics take up energy?
So much. It's exhausting to be constantly moving.
It's like a constant workout, I guess. But
pinch.
I wish. Oh, I forgot I had my nose pierced then.
Oh yeah.
I was meant to wipe my nose. I got you.
I got you. I'll never let you go, Jack. I take up a lot of
mental energy.
I was about to say that. Yeah. You don't always see the tics. Sometimes they're mental. It takes a lot of concentration. Still be aware of everything going on around you and not get distracted by the tics.
Talk about echolalia. What is echolalia?
Echolalia is the repetition of things that other people have said or things that you've heard from other places.
So this can happen within minutes, days, weeks, months. So usually it happens a few seconds after you've heard it. However, if I watch a TV show, a month later I could pick up a tic from that TV show. That's still echolalia because it's something you've heard, but it's not happened straight away. And
quite often for me, it will be things that I don't even remember hearing. Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
I've only ever tried to watch the Bee Movie once, and I was in class the other day, and I recited the first paragraph of the movie, and I don't remember that at all. Just happened.
Yeah. It's like your subconscious takes it in. But you don't realise you've taken it in until you tick it, and then you're like, oh, well, I must have been listening.
And sometimes you can't work out where things have come from, and people will comment like, oh, is that from this thing? And then you'll go, oh yeah, I watched that like maybe 3 years ago.
Do your tics ever write or draw? So this is called a graphia tic.
Graphic tic.
Is it graphic? Or graphia?
No, that was a tic.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. A graphic tic.
There's different forms of graphia tics. For example, polygraphia is continuing to write what you've already written. Coprographia is writing or drawing socially unacceptable things. Hey, for example, swear words or graphic images.
Yeah, with my ones, I quite often type the word penis.
Okay.
Because it's quite an easy word to type.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just tick and you type it.
I don't have any graphia tics. They're quite complex tics. They're sort of rare in people with tics, but I do have tics that I scribble on the page, but I don't think that really counts.
I feel like they do, to be honest, because obviously you're still
maybe
writing.
Yeah.
Hello. And sometimes our like vocal tics are just gibberish, but we still count those as tics.
That's a good point.
Penis. Pasta.
That was so aggressive, like pasta. But
piss off.
Sorry. How is class with tics?
My class is amazing. Yeah. I only have one class. We're always in the same classroom, and it's always the same people and the same tutors. So I feel like they're all really used to me, and a lot of them watch my TikToks. They obviously know I'm recording TikToks because my college tutors are amazing as well, and I think they actually get more excited about my TikTok milestones than my parents do, to be honest.
Yeah.
My college classmates are great because when they watch my TikToks and they see all the comments underneath going, you don't deserve to be in a classroom, like, are you in a special needs class, and all those kind of things, they'll reassure me that actually no, I'm not annoying them. There are more disruptive people than me in my class, and they can help it, so they just tune me out.
I think a lot of people who are with us a lot, our tics end up like white noise. It blurs into background noise, unless it's a tic that's like a complex vocal tic that makes people laugh. Just the whistles, the noises, the neck jerks, they can just drown them out. That's what my friends have told me anyway.
It's very easy to get used to. I think it only took my class a few weeks to get used to be honest.
Yeah.
And my tutors let me do a presentation to my class.
I think my classes took a bit longer because I'm in a younger class than Cece is. I'm 16 and Cece's 18.
I'm not a paedophile, I promise.
Of course, maturity levels are different, and also I'm in loads of different classes for different subjects, whereas Cece's in one class for her whole school life. No, that doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does, okay. So I had a lot more people to get used to my tics than Cece did.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a hard... No, you don't. Do you have a hard time with daily activities?
Yes. I think the one I really struggle with is showering.
Yeah.
I find it terrifying. It's so easy to tick and slip. My bathroom is so much out of the way of the rest of the house. You literally have to go through the conservatory, and it's in like an outhouse. So it's really scary. Because obviously it's wet, it's slippery. It's so easy to just fall over and bang your head, or I could like hit the wall and smash a tile or something. I haven't yet, luckily. But
yeah. So for me, the tics are hard, but the FND, the leg paralysis, makes it a lot more difficult than the tics do. So daily activities like getting dressed. When my legs are paralysed, my parents have to help me get dressed, and things like showering, bathing and stuff, I have to have help with that. So the tics, they make it really hard, but the FND has a bigger impact on daily activities than my tics do.
With tics, things like eating and drinking can be really hard, can't they? Cause
we were eating sweets earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We were throwing them all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's like spitting out water and throwing food, and
which can be embarrassing.
Exactly, especially in restaurants and things. It was luckily it was when I was at Tourette's camp, so everybody else had Tourette's syndrome, but I threw a fork at someone, and obviously that's quite scary. It's sharp, it could have hurt someone.
I feel completely myself around CC, but around other people it would be, I would feel embarrassed if I threw food around. I hate this question, but have you ever blamed something on your tics that wasn't a tic?
Okay, I feel like it's a pretty universal answer that anyone who actually has tics is going to say no, because we understand that we want people to be able to trust us, and B, we'd just feel too bad taking advantage of it. It's just not something that would cross our minds.
Are you able to control the volume of your tics?
I can't.
No, neither can I.
No, I have no control over the volume. It's either it's sort of like on or off. You can suppress it or you can let it out. There's not really any in between.
Although I do find if I've suppressed my tics for a certain amount of time, they will come out louder.
Louder, yeah. And they get, the motor tics get more aggressive and the vocal tics get louder, yeah. Agree with that.
But I do have whispering tics, but they whisper out of my control. I'm not making them whisper, they just whisper because it's a whispering tic.
So tics can be different volumes, but it's not us controlling it.
Yeah. What's our most common tic? Mine is like a sort of sound. That one.
That one, yeah. Mine is actually one in my leg. You can't see it very well, but I've had it since I was literally like 9, and it's just the leg muscles in my thigh tensing. But that one's been pretty constant since I was about 9 years old.
I've also got like a the sound. That's pretty constant as well. Have you ever told a secret with your tics?
Yes, I accidentally told everybody who my secret Santa was last year.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hey. I've told secrets with my tics, but I wouldn't say as a general rule your tics reveal the truth.
No.
It's more of a coincidence.
Yeah.
I
think the only reason that my tics revealed what my secret Santa was because someone said, oh, imagine if your tics said who your secret Santa was. So if you put the idea into our head, it's more likely to happen.
Or if you try and stop yourself from saying something, your tic is likely to pick up on that.
Yeah, like if you're worried about saying something, even if it's like something that you don't believe, say you're walking past someone who has a more noticeable characteristic and you're worried about saying something offensive about them. It might not necessarily be something that you agree with or believe, but you're more likely to tick it because you're being worried about it. It's like, I personally haven't been to an airport since I've had vocal tics, but I know a lot of people with tics and Tourette's struggle with I have a bomb or I have drugs tics, and it's not because they actually do, it's just because they're worried about it, and that's a situation where it triggers it.
It triggers it, yeah. How do teachers react? So my teachers, as a general rule, are really good. The only thing I will say about my teachers is sometimes I don't think they're quite as educated on it as they could be, which is no fault of their own. For example, if my tic swears, they'll say, darling, like, try not to swear. Or if my tic hits myself, they'll go like, darling, don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself. I don't think they quite realise sometimes that it's completely out of my control.
Yeah, it's like, since September I've had new support workers, so they come in and scribe for me, and a few of them haven't, they're all absolutely amazing, but a few of them haven't really understood that it's completely involuntary, and a few of them have done a few things like said, oh, imagine if your tic does this, and then a few of them were quite
they don't realise that it's going to trigger the tic.
A few of them were quite upsetting ones as well, like I have a cane because I'm visually impaired, and I think one of my tutors said, oh, imagine if you hit someone with that, which obviously, if you put it into my head, I'm really going to struggle with it, and that's something that I need to get around. So I think, that's the only bad thing I've had with my tutors.
Have you ever got into trouble with your tic?
Personally, I haven't.
No.
Apart from, I guess, in public, but it's not really getting into trouble, it's just people getting offended because they don't understand. I've had a few older ladies shout at me.
I've been recorded ticking.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say that's getting into trouble, but that is a not nice experience that I've had. I was with my friend and I was ticking quite badly. I was having a lot of vocal tics. They were swearing a lot, but they were also saying other things. So it wasn't just
old man, fucking coffin dodger.
It was an old man, so it was saying a lot of sort of related things to him. But it was also saying things like peas. Like, peas was a common tic for me at the time.
Beans.
So it was also saying peas. So it was obvious that I wasn't just swearing. And he recorded me from all angles. We had to get Mum involved and the police involved to try and get the video off his phone, and that wasn't nice.
No, I remember you telling us about that. Ouch. You're right.
Yeah, I'm good.
I remember you telling us about that. I was so scared for you.
I was so upset with that. How do parents/siblings react? Shitly.
Shitly. My family used to be a bit off with it. I mean, I've had tics since I was 5, so they've always known about my tics. I feel like they didn't really understand them. So I first went to the doctor when I was 9 because my parents noticed my tics. And they basically just told us to ignore them and they'd go away, which obviously they didn't. But I think as I got a bit older, my siblings started to catch on that they could do certain things that would trigger my tics. Yeah. So a lot of things trigger my tics. Like a weird one is light switches being like wonky.
Okay.
So they'd go round and just flick the light switches so they were in the wrong directions and things like that, because they knew it would stress me out. Or they'd say the word twitch, because when you talk about tics or when you think about tics, they get worse. Yeah.
My parents are amazing with my tics. Tits? Did you say tits?
No.
And my sister's really good with them too. How are your tics with animals? As a general rule, my tics are amazing with animals. They calm me down a lot. But when I'm not actually cuddling them and they're just there, my tics sort of poke them or cover their eyes. That's a common one. I'll cover their eyes and then go like, you can't see, or something like that.
Yeah.
How are your tics with animals?
My tics, they do sometimes calm down with animals, but it depends what animals, because I don't really like germs. Germs stress me out a lot, so my rabbits really calm me down, but for example my cats, I can't just sit there and stroke them because I just don't like the germs aspect of it, so I guess it depends really.
Have you ever had a tic attack in school?
Mine mostly happen at night though.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
When I'm tired.
Yeah. Mine are usually like 3 a.m. when no one else is awake, which is kind of annoying because sometimes I would like someone else around.
Support.
But yeah, it is what it is.
I have sort of different levels of tic attack. So I've had sort of tic attacks in school, but I've never had what I call a full body tic attack, which is where I'm like writhing around on the floor. I've never had one like that in school. And when my tics get bad in school, I just go home. So it's never got to the point where my tics are so bad in school, because I would just go home when they're getting to that point.
Yeah, I feel like I've had things that other people might class as tic attacks.
Oh yeah.
But they were more just, it was more just a bad tic day for me. I feel like it depends on the person, because obviously you don't really see anybody else's tic attacks, so it's, I mean, not that we would want to compare, but it's hard to tell what is and what isn't.
What's a tic attack to you that might be not to me?
Because for me, it's a certain feeling. It's a certain feeling all the way through my back, and that's how I know it's a tic attack.
A tic attack, 2 tic days could look the same, but could feel completely different. 1 tic day could feel like a tic attack, and 1 tic day could look like a tic attack, but you don't get the horrible feeling inside you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a seizure in school? So this question's for me because,
I don't have seizures.
Don't have seizures. Yeah, I've had multiple seizures in school. when my seizures get bad in school, I have to go home. But like the odd absent in school, I'm fine with. I just stay in class. But if they get into bigger seizures or back-to-back seizures, then I go home.
Back-to-back seizures? Amy Winehouse in the house.
Why do you have a wheelchair or crutches? Do you reckon this is for me?
Yeah.
I have a wheelchair and crutches because of my FND. My legs can partially paralyse or fully paralyse. My feet could lock. So I'd need crutches or wheelchair, either of those.
That question was on one of my old videos when I did have a wheelchair and crutches. That was a very brief thing. It was only one of my legs, and it used to paralyse, which I was quite worried because A, I didn't want it to look like I was copying everybody else, and B, it's not normal. But that sorted itself out when I started steroids in June. So the doctors think it was a trapped nerve in my spine, which would make a lot more sense.
Do strangers get offended by rude tics?
Some of them do. You get a lot of stares when you have tics.
Except for that man who recorded me, I've never had like a stranger actually say you're being rude, but I've got a lot of stares.
Yeah. I've had a few older ladies. There was one in Aldi once. She followed me around the whole shop, and then when we got through the checkouts, told me to stop swearing because there were kids around, and then I explained to her what Tourette's syndrome was, and she wasn't listening. She just kept saying, like, keep the volume down, like, there's kids around, it's rude. Yeah, she really wasn't listening. So, but then I got my Tourette's ID cards, so you can give them out to people and they have like information on them. But I think there was the only other time that actually quite scared me was I was trying to walk back from my college to the bus stop. I was behind everybody else. They had already gone ahead because I needed to finish off some work, so I was on my own, and this massive group of teenage boys on bikes came and literally surrounded me and started like mocking my tics, which was terrifying.
Do your tics annoy you?
Yes.
So much.
Oh my god. They're just... It's really annoying and really frustrating to not be able to control what you're doing half the time.
Sorry.
It's alright.
The most annoying tic, as in shut up, I want it to stop, is like when you repeat something over and over again. Just... It really gets to me. It's like a 2-year-old in your ear.
Yeah. What are you doing, Evie? Like Evie's tic, yeah. Cut that bit out.
What are you doing? Is it offensive if I laugh at a tic?
Personally, I don't find it offensive, but I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah, you have to ask the person.
Yeah.
Depends on the circumstance. If you're laughing at me injuring myself, I would be bothered.
Yeah.
But if you're laughing because it's a funny tic, and if I'm laughing, then go ahead. Like, it makes me feel more included.
There's definitely situational. Like, some of them you feel a lot more comfortable if people do laugh and actually acknowledge it rather than just ignoring it and feeling awkward. But then some of them, it's just like you'd rather they ignored them.
Yeah.
It also depends what mood I'm in, to be honest.
Yeah.
If I'm in a bad mood and I want people to be taking me seriously for once, then I don't really like people laughing, but it's not something you can really like tell people because otherwise they feel uncomfortable.
Is it fun to have tics?
No.
It's not at all. There are fun times that you can take the positives out of your tics.
Yeah. I feel like you have to find positives in the situation, but it doesn't make the situation positive, if that makes sense. It's so, like, I'm really glad that I've met people like Neve and all the community, but at the same time, I really hate my tics.
So the tics aren't fun, but there are fun parts about the tics. Do your tics get triggered when you're editing videos?
Yes. I feel like mine sort of mock myself when I'm watching them back, because obviously I caption all my videos and I have to type out the tics.
Or my echolalia gets set off and I just repeat what I'm ticking in the video.
Yeah.
Does anyone get confused between what a tic is and what's not a tic?
Yeah. I feel like People do sometimes, but it's only when my tics are in like my normal voice, because most of my tics are in... They sound different to my normal talking voice.
Earlier on in this video, I thought that you were actually talking to me, but it was a tic. I think as long as, you know, you're being sincere with it, like I genuinely didn't know. I wasn't trying to take the mick. My sister says a lot of the time, was that you or was that tic? So yeah, sometimes people do get confused.
And sometimes it is easy to tell because even if it's in your normal voice, it's not something you would say.
Yeah.
It's like Neve doesn't swear, so if Neve swears, we know it's a tic.
It's a tic. Have you named your tics?
My tics are called Reggie.
My tics are called Nora.
Yeah, mine were named by a guy in my class. It's sometimes easier to just sort of have another entity to blame it on.
Yeah.
But it also does have its negative effects because I feel like it means people completely separate the tics from you. I've had a lot of people... I think there were 2 people in my old class that used to do it, but they'd say like rude things about Reggie. Yeah. But obviously, I'd still be offended by it because they're saying it about me.
Yeah. I used to get called Neve Nora when I was little. So it's easy for my sister to say, was that Neve or was that Nora? So that's why I named my tics. Has anything good come out of your tics? CC and all the other brilliant people that I met from having tics.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's given me a big platform, I guess, but it's hard to tell whether I would give up the platform not to have tics because obviously I don't want the tics.
How do moods affect your tics?
Oh, moods really affect my tics.
Moods massively.
Especially when I'm excited. Like, if I'm excited, then I'm literally bouncing off the walls.
My tics get bad when I'm excited and my tics get bad when I'm stressed. But they're different types of bad.
Yes.
Like, when I'm excited, they get excited. They're all shaky and, like, jumping off the walls and excited. When I'm stressed, they're a lot more violent.
Yeah. Or tired.
Tired.
They can get a lot more violent when I'm tired. Or angry,
Anxious. Angry.
Yeah. When I'm angry, my tics get quite loud.
My tics are at their best when I'm sad.
Yes, me too. When I'm sad, my tics tend to be just the motor ones. Like, I only have the little whistly tics if I'm sad.
If I'm... It's quite sad, but if I'm crying, I'd literally have no tics.
Yeah.
I think that's... Other than, like, playing guitar and stuff, I think that's the only time when I have no tics is when I'm very, very low. That's all the questions.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to our... do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've watched your videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. They'll both be in the description. And check out our TikToks and our Instagrams if you want to see more content from us. We love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.